Hey everybody, what's going on? It's GoofyRhexxi here, coming to you with a video today. So today's actually going to be my 390-day roster review. Just kind of wanted to take some time and go through that, really quickly. Obviously, you probably might be asking, why am I doing my own, roster review? Well, the reason why is because I feel as if there are some things that, I have done. That were really good over the past 390 days of playing the game, and I definitely also think that there were some things as well that, let's say, were not good, as well over the past 390 days. So I figured, first and foremost, let's kind of start off with things that I think probably went really well, and I'll start off with legendaries, right? So I started, I already have Star Lord, I have Invisible Woman, I have Ultron, which I really consider Ultron to be a legendary in my personal opinion, because the amount of work that you have to do to get Ultron, he's pretty much a legendary character. Magneto, and then Shuri. So I'm really happy with these characters that I do have. I think Star Lord is great. I think he's for me, I started playing last year June in 2019, right? And I actually got Star Lord in March of this year, 2020, and I literally went from not even being close to doing well in U6 to being able to run through U6, and then also, well, back when before the previous difficulty scale, but and then of course, then being able to go into Dark Dimension 2, and then completing that and getting Ultron. So when I unlocked Star Lord, I immediately kind of just like started working on him and getting him to gear tier 13, and I was able to bring him, as well as bringing an Invisible Woman, Groot, Rocket, and of course Minerva, and I also did bring in Hela. So those are my 6 characters that I brought into Dark Dimension 2 to complete that content. It took me 2 days the first time, and it took me 3 days the second time. One of the reasons it took me 3 days the second time is honestly because it's 16 nodes that literally probably take like 20 minutes each, and it's a nightmare to go through, to do that, that content. So I kind of just bear down for 2 days to do it the first time, and then kind of just spread it out a little bit more over the next couple of days to get it done, to get my 7-star Ultron. So yeah, Star Lord's great. I think he's a character that really essentially allowed me to go through a lot of good content in this game. Invisible Woman, Star Lord, Invisible Woman, Minerva were really good in Dark Dimension 2, and helped me out a lot to be able to also progress throughout the content as well. Magneto is also very good. I use him a lot in War Offense, along with the Brotherhood team. I use the Brotherhood 1.0 team right now, to do a lot of content in raids. Primarily in the gamma raids, I always start off in the middle, taking Magneto and the Brotherhood team, and going through like the first 2 or 3 nodes in the gamma raids. Gamma sucks, so you just gotta do the best that you can do. And then I also use him in kind of the beginning of alpha raids, and I use him in some content too as well. I think I use him in some content. I'm not quite sure if I remember, but I think I also use him in beta too as well. The only thing that when it comes to legendaries, that I'm a little bit disappointed with is, number one, that I have not really put that much investment into Shuri. Granted, I just unlocked her on the past event, so I pretty much essentially brought her up to the point where she can be used in the 4-star event, for Chaos Theory, because my Okoye and my Mbaku are not at 5 stars yet, so I can't do the 5-star content. But yeah, she's been really good for where she is. My plan is actually to invest into her a little bit more, so that I can put her alongside, or put her with Invisible Woman, as well as the symbiotes, to run as a U7 which right now we're doing U7 once a week, in our current alliance. In our current alliance, I am ready to unlock Black Bolt, and I'm ready to unlock Fury. I'm just waiting for their event to roll around again. The characters that I have not unlocked yet, or legendaries, as you can see and tell, are Phoenix, and I have not unlocked, slipping my mind, Ebony Maw right now. I'm both of those characters, I'm about 1 or 2 characters away. My Hela right now is at 183 out of 200, so she only needs 17 more shards for me to get her to 6 stars. And then my Noble is about I think he might be like 70 to 90 shards away, but once again, that's like a 3 month. That's 3 months away from me now, so I'll be able to get them to 6 stars. The one I'm worried about is Karnak, because Karnak I need 180 more shards for Karnak to be able to get him to 5 stars. I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to get there in time unless I decide to probably spend and get 50 shards for him. Then maybe that will actually give me a better opportunity, a better chance to. So we'll see. I don't know yet. We'll see where that goes. As time progresses. But let's go to the bottom of the roster and kind of just see the things, like I said, that I think are I would say are probably like some missing points here that I probably really should be focusing on. So I do have Taskmaster here. I have not worked on him. I do have Cull Obsidian that I have not worked on. Mainly the reason why I haven't worked on Cull is because I don't have Ebony Maw. So I don't really feel like I need to invest into Cull yet because I don't have the team for him. Once I do have Ebony Maw and I can put all of them together, then absolutely I will put some investment into him. But right now I just don't really see the purpose for it, so I kind of just have him sitting there right now. Taskmaster is just one of those characters too as well that I would like to be able to work on. I know that they're really good on war defense, but unfortunately, because there are just so many other teams that I'm trying to work on right now, that's the reason why I have not I have not put any sort of investment into him either. Strife, also kind of a similar situation. I just got Mr. Sinister, so before that there was really no reason to work on him. So at some point I'll throw him into the rotation, as well as Taskmaster and of course Cull Obsidian. Eventually I'll throw them into rotation to start working on them, but as of right now there's just really no reason for me to do it. Because I have other teams that I also need to work on too as well, that I'm also currently working on. Before I get to them. I just unlocked Domino, got her to 3 stars, haven't pulled the trigger on it yet. Once again I will, but this other time. Things that I'm disappointed that I haven't done so far is Elsa Bloodstone. I have not worked on her. Crystal not so much because I don't have Black Bolt, so not really viable yet. I will work on her right as we get closer to the Ebony Maw event, and probably before then. Probably when I get Black Bolt I'll work on her, but like I said, just not right now. One of the biggest things that you want to learn in this game is not to rush certain things. You want to have a sense of urgency with certain items, but you don't want to rush everything or anything, right? So I'm not really rushing with Crystal right now. But Elsa Bloodstone, I really should have worked on her, as well as Ghost Rider. I do have a relatively good invested into Scarlet Witch as well as Mordo. So if I was able to just build them up a little bit, and my Doctor Strange is somewhere around here, like Doctor Strange is right there, like if I just put a little bit more investment and get him to gear tier 10, get him to level 60, convert this over to upgrade him up to 5 stars, then really good team. If I can just build them out to like 60, gear tier 10, 6664, get all their abilities maxed out, then I'll be able to do a little bit more with that team. They're really good in blitzes. I've seen them do a lot of good stuff in war. They're a pain in the behind in arena. Granted, I'm fighting teams in arena at this point that are about 390k or 400k in arena at this point, so it's kind of annoying. I've been able to beat some supernatural teams, but man, it takes a lot out of you. But yeah, I mean, they're a really good team. They do really well in blitz. They're a team that can win in tier 8 in blitz. So I think that they're a really good team that I should work on. And that is actually a part. I'm actually currently on this I would say this 9 team build out right now, and Supernatural is a part of that team build out. It's probably going to take me about 3 to 4 months to do, just simply because there's just so many teams and so many little resources. But the biggest thing for me is, now that I've gotten Ultron, I just got him at the end of May, is just to make sure that I just got him about a month ago. So yeah, just to make sure that I have more of a wider, balanced roster. I can help out my alliance more in war offense. I can help out, myself in blitz and be able to get more blitz points. That's really kind of the reason why I'm thinking about going that route. But yeah, working on Ghost Rider, working on Elsa Bloodstone, would have been something that I would have wished that I had done earlier, than what I'm trying to do right now. Psylocke also as well, because Psylocke is a character that can go really well with the Hero Brawlers team. And I know Hero Brawlers sounds weird, like why are they important? I love the Hero Brawlers team. They do a lot of really good work, and they actually do a lot for me in Blitz, and they do a lot for me too as well in War Offense. Like there's always a matchup that I can use the Hero Brawlers team for. Miss Marvel is such a good character that works really well with Hero Brawlers, and Psylocke is a very good utility character, so I really like her and sort of like what she brings to the table. So that's the reason why I want to work on Psylocke, and she's also part of that build out that I'm doing too as well right now. I would like to be able to work a little bit more on my mercs. I would like to be able to bring Blob and Toad up a little bit more, just so that I can get them to, you know, be in a part of that Brotherhood 2.0 team, so that then I'll be able to take, you know, be able to take my Sabretooth and my Mystique and then bring them down to working with Sinister and Strife, and then probably, you know, maybe bringing Kingpin, you know, onto that team, you know, too as well. So I think that would be really good. I just got to kind of figure some things out. Now we kind of get into the areas where I'm a little embarrassed to talk about, just because I feel like I've put certain investments into characters that I probably should not have put investment into, right? So for instance, Crossbones, I think I put a little bit too much investment in, and I know, like, he's only a gear tier 9, right? But I probably should never have brought him up to gear tier 9. You know, it's purple gear, right? Like, I put purple gear into Crossbones to get him to gear tier 9. I probably shouldn't have done that. There were other characters that would have, you know, that would have probably benefited from that purple gear that I probably should have put purple gear into, as opposed to putting into Crossbones. Same thing with Ant-Man. Like, there was an event that you could use Ant-Man and the Wasp to do that allowed you to get, I think it was like a lot of gold or something like that, right? So it was good that I was able to use him for that, but at the same time, I used purple gear on him, right? Like, man, like, I probably should have saved that purple gear and used it for someone else, right? So those are just a few things that I think I'm a little disappointed with. You know, same thing here with there's another character I'm looking for. A Monstrosity was fine because he actually helped me out a bit to get through some of the villains campaign before I was able to get to work on Researcher. So I actually don't really regret working on A Monstrosity. He took some bio gear, but it is what it is, right? I regret not working on Captain Marvel earlier. Right now she's a part of that phase build out that I just mentioned. I wish I had worked more on Captain Marvel, but unfortunately I didn't, you know, and she's a really strong character. She's probably a character that I would have preferred to have brought into Dark Dimension 2 as opposed to bringing in Rocket, right? Not that I regret Rocket, but, you know, when you start to think about, like, on a holistic approach of resource management, maybe Captain Marvel would have been a better character that could actually scale well a little bit later on as opposed to Rocket, or whatever. Like, well, she does take bio gear, but you kind of get what I'm saying, right? Like, overall she's a much better character than Rocket, right? Like, Rocket works better with Star-Lord, but overall Captain Marvel is a much better character overall. Thanos, I never got him in time to be able to put him on a BKT team, so I don't really regret it, but I have built him up to a certain stopping point right now, just so that whenever the time does come, when I do work on the Black Order team, here's my Jamaican accent coming out, but my Black Order team, then I will have the opportunity, you know, he's already at gear tier 10. I could leave them there and just fill out his abilities, right? And just finish off his abilities, but I already have a Thanos that's already ready and built up. I think I put also too much investment into the Kree minions. I don't need that much investment into them in order to be able to unlock Nick Fury. I've seen unlocks of Nick Fury. I probably have a much more powerful Kree minion team that I really need, so I probably could have also saved some gear, you know, on them, you know, too as well. I also kind of regret Wolverine investment, but I mean, he's going to go with Phoenix, right? So at least I already have him there. I might just need to finish off his abilities a little bit, but at least I already have him there. The Hulk, same thing, same kind of deal. Hulk is not a bad character. He's just not really that good. So maybe I should have probably saved some gear on him, and Captain America saved some gear on him too. Vision, I regret a little bit because I really should put more investment into Vision, especially this dense. If I had just done anything by just giving and just finishing off the T3 ability, that for Vision's like passive, he would be able to give all of his tech allies defensive up for 2 turns, as opposed to just himself. And with the current power armor team that I'm running with Vision, that team is such a weak health team. They do really good work on, like, in terms of like punching, but they don't do a very good job when it comes to sustain all the time. They're very, very squishy characters. So if I had just been able to get that piece onto Vision, then I would have been able to do a little bit more, with the power armor team. So those are certain things that I did wrong. The biggest one that I regret is my defenders. Unfortunately, I work too heavily on defenders. They don't scale very well towards the end of the game. They help me out with a lot of great content in the beginning, but unfortunately, there should have been a stopping point that I had with the defenders team. So that's kind of where I'm at right now with the defenders team. They're all at gear tier 12. This is really where I regret things. T4s, man, I can't take them back. I can't take them back. I did it, and I deserve to be yelled at. I deserve to be reprimanded. Why did I ever put any sort of T4s into the defenders team? I am so sorry. I am so sorry. I am so sorry. So yeah, this is where I'm at. But and trust me, it's not just Iron Fist. There's a T4 in Jessica Jones. I think there's one in Daredevil. Oh God, why? Why did I ever put T4s into Daredevil? Why was nobody looking over what I was doing? Why? I'm very sad. I'm very sad, and I'm very disappointed in myself. But, it is what it is. It's already been done. So what can I say? I wish I had never done that. The only character that I don't regret putting a T4 into, honestly, I'm being very, very, very serious when I say this, is Punisher. I think this was I regret this. the basic attack, why? But I don't regret his passive. His passive, I think, if I'm not mistaken, his passive gave him kind of like a guaranteed opportunity to do if Daredevil was attacked, and then also I think if one city here, he gains 20% per city hero. So obviously the chances are better when he has all 4 defenders next to him. But I don't regret. I do not regret by any means. I think it was previously, before that, it was like 10% chance, and then 10% chance to assist, or whatever the case is. So yeah, I don't regret that T4, but any other T4 that was done, I do regret, on the defenders team. So yeah, those are just kind of like my roster regrets. Other regrets that I probably would mention too as well, it's just not going wider on my roster. I think I went too tall to be able to get Ultron. I think that if I had gone a little bit wider prior to, like I said, I'll kind of show you my teams here, like my team comps based on Blitz, based on my Blitz teams, right? So teams that I have invested in I don't regret, like my Asgardian team. I don't regret any sort of investment. Even Heimdall, I don't regret any sort of investment I have put into Heimdall. I don't regret any investment that I've put into this team as a whole in general, because they work really well. They're super, super good in Blitz. They're super good in raids. They're super good in war defense. Like war defense and war offense, they're really, really good. I regret nothing about that team. The Guardians team, I don't really regret anything except for maybe bringing Mantis to gear tier 12. I don't know why I did that. I probably should not have done that. But also, she is a really good healer for that team in raids, and she's also just a general, just good healer, period. Even if you take her off the Guardians team. So I really don't, I regret bringing up the gear tier level because she's a bio character, but I don't really regret like investing into her. I don't really regret investing into her. I just regret investing into her to that point. Rocket and Groot, I kind of wish that I didn't put them to Gear Tier 13. Not that they weren't good in Dark Dimension 2, they were fantastic in Dark Dimension 2. But at the same time, when you think about it, like characters like Shuri take Tech Gear that needs to go to Gear 13 and then Gear 14. Same thing with Minerva. She needs to go to Gear Tier 14 eventually so I can do Dark Dimension 3. And when you think about Groot, he took Alien Spores. So Alien Spores you need for the entire symbiote team, at least for Carnage and Symbiote Spider-Man, who I eventually want to be able to bring into Dark Dimension 3, right? So, like, yeah, for that standpoint, and of course then the BioGear, right? So, like, for that purpose and for that reason, I wish that I had not put, that much investment into them. But hey, it is what it is. Like, I really, like I said, they were really, really good. I wish that I had probably brought other characters in. So the characters that I used for Dark Dimension were Star-Lord, Minerva, Invisible Woman, Groot, Rocket. It probably would have been better overall investment if I had done, instead of Groot and Rocket, SSM, and then Shuri. They also would have worked because Star-Lord, Minerva, Invisible Woman work as a great trio together in Dark Dimension. Kind of a weird composition, but they work really, really, really well together in Dark Dimension 2. My Brotherhood team, I just built them out too as well after I got Ultron. My AIM team, along now with AIMtron, works really well too. I would like some more investment into security and potentially like down here like researcher, right? But for the rest of the team, they are where they are. They do really well. I would just like to give them a little bit more investment to bump them up. My Brawlers team, kind of a weird team. Eventually, Thing will get off this team, and eventually, I might take off Captain Marvel and just put her with like Captain America, Hulk, Vision, Black Widow. Right, I might do like kind of like that mashup, and the only reason why is because Captain Marvel is good enough to carry your team by herself, and I think she can carry that team. While Miss Marvel can probably carry Psylocke, and if I really wanted to like take Black Panther off the Wakandan team and then put Black Panther on this team, with Psylocke, with America Chavez, like there's different things that I can do with that team. But my primary goals and my primary focus right now is making sure that I have a wider roster and teams that are fully built out and maxed out T3 levels so that I can really, really get a sense of how good they are. Especially knowing that they are good now, but they could be better if I probably maxed out their abilities. So that team is the Brawlers team. That team is the Power Armor team. That team is the Sinister Six team. This Symbiote Spider-Verse team works really well. I just finished building them out. Actually, I think I got 1 or 2 last T3s to put onto Spider-Man. Not T4s, T3s. To put onto Spider-Man. And then of course, like here, right, like this is where things get a little bit funky because I haven't built out certain things yet. So like Invisible Woman, Yondu, unfortunately, man, he was really good early part of the game for me, and then he just did not scale well. So like I would say that I regret it, but at the same time, at the time when I was using Yondu, like he was clearing nodes for me. So I don't necessarily regret the investment. It's just that he just didn't scale well as the game kind of moved along. Thanos will get his work. Minerva, I'll probably like to bring her down to this Kree team. Once I kind of figure things out with this team, Mordo's obviously going to go to a Supernatural team, too as well. So, the teams that I'm going to be building out, as we move forward here now, I think are all teams that are going to be good for whether it's war offense, war defense, or doing well in blitz, or certain Greek raids. And those teams for me are going to be the Power Armor team. I'll replace Vision and put in Ironheart. The Brawlers team with Miss Marvel. Potentially still Captain Marvel, but definitely America Chavez, Gamora, Psylocke. And maybe later on Black Panther. The Wakandans, obviously building up Shuri as well, being able to get her eventually to Gear Tier 13 so that I can put her and Invisible Woman and the symbiotes into raids while they still do their respective work on their teams in other areas. And then of course I would like to be able to work on the Supernatural team with Mordo and and Ghost Rider and all those characters, be able to work on the Inhumans team. Once I unlock Fury, work on the Fury Coulson team. Once being able to get around to working on a Fantastic Four team, the Sinister Six team too as well, and then of course that Avengers mashup that I kind of just mentioned too as well. So those are kind of the that's like my roster review. I would say this is kind of where my roster is, and this is what you're going to see me work on over the next couple weeks. I'm on a 3 to 4 month quest, I guess, to get to Dark Dimension 3, but that for me doesn't really start until I get until I really get Phoenix. Phoenix is like a key cog and a main character that I want to work on. And of course, like once I finish working on those teams, right, then I will start working on characters like the X-Men characters, right. Once I get closer to getting Phoenix, characters like the Mercs that I can put. I'm contemplating the theory crafting right now, but I'm contemplating right now at this moment whether or not I wanna take Shuri, Killmonger, and put them on with Taskmaster, Merc Riot Guard, and Merc Lieutenant. I'm contemplating that right now, or if I just want to go straight up, primarily just working on Mercs, just so that I can have a wider build out roster. But I've realized the importance of having a wider roster. You help out your alliance a lot better in war. You help out yourself when it comes to blitz and being able to get the highest blitz points that you possibly can, being able to get over that 10 million mark in blitz, being able to potentially get to the even if you can't get the high in the 2000s. But what if you could get 55 to 85 shards, for a new character when they first come out? Things like that I think about when it comes to blitz. And I can always, you can see in my streams how I do blitz rotations. I don't pull up a bunch of points, but I'm able to do, when I do actually finally decide to really actually blitz, doing my 3 to 4 rotations a day, I'm able to put up 7.5, to 8 million, in blitz, because I've, reworked my roster, and I, go from kind of top to bottom. I use my entire roster on the first rotation, and then I use, my top, like, 12 to 13 teams on the ensuing rotations too as well. But like I said, this is just kind of an initial roster review. Things that I've learned to do is just not to work on too many teams at once, working on one particular team at a time, bringing them up to certain stopping points, which is just to make sure that making sure that the biggest thing is that for a team to be fully synergized and a team to be fully ready, you got to get them to at least level 60, gear tier 10, 6664. That's what I'm working on right now for a lot of my teams on this roster. Not wasting gold, as you can see right here, I have 4.3 million gold, and I also as well have 33 gold orbs. I hoard them because I don't need them right now, and I don't waste gold. And I'm currently working on my Hero Brawlers team right now. I'm working on my Hero Brawlers team in terms of getting Captain Marvel gear. And then I'm working on Spider-Man to finish off his T3 abilities. So I'm not putting any gear into him. And I'm putting gear into Captain Marvel. And I only put gear into one character at a time. I don't work on multiple characters and put gear into. I may farm 3 different character shards at a time, but I do not put gear into more than one character at a time. That's how you maximize your resources. That's how you maximize your goal, by not putting too much into them. I'm now implementing stopping points, which is level 25, gear tier 5, level 50. Gear tier 8, with abilities at like 4442, level 60, gear tier 10, 6664, level 65, gear tier 11, and each team for me is going to have different tier level, is going to have different stopping points. But the biggest thing for me is just making sure that you put a lot of thought into your roster. I would encourage you to look at your roster, see where they're missing points, see where there are teams maybe that you've worked on, or teams that you haven't worked on that would be good teams for you in other areas. If you find that you're lacking in war, looking up war teams and then trying to work on that team one character at a time, in terms of putting gear into them, making sure that you're maxing out abilities, to 6 to 6 4. That's when a character is really like fully ready to do some true damage. They can do some damage before that, but typically, that's when they can really do a lot of damage and do a lot of good for you. So I would definitely encourage you to take a look at your roster. If there are any, I know I went through this kind of quickly, but if you have any questions about anything, feel free to message me. My Discord link is somewhere down here or here. I don't know specifically where, but it's somewhere down there. I'll be coming out with videos probably I would say every week or so. I would say probably 2 a week to start off with. And of course, if there's any other content that you want me to come out with too as well. This was just a quick roster review of where my roster is. I didn't go through the nitty gritty of certain things like spending gold, what to spend gold on, things like that. I didn't go through that. So if you want me to come up with videos about things like that, or how to spend your credits, how to spend your blitz credits, your raid credits, your war store credits, what teams to work on. If you want to come up with videos about what teams to work on, I'm definitely happy to do that too as well. Or even if it's just anything that you want to know about Marvel Strike Force. I'm also streaming on Twitch, so my Twitch link is down there too as well. So if you want to catch me on stream, I stream from Tuesday through Friday. Sometimes I do Mondays if it's a legendary event day. I'll do some Mondays, but I stream from Tuesday through Friday on Twitch, Tuesdays and Thursdays at 9, and then I also stream on Wednesdays and Fridays at 10 too as well. But happy for you to come on in and hop in and chat. But thank you so much. If you like this video, please subscribe, please like the video. It really helps me out too as well. And thank you so much, and we'll talk again soon. Be blessed. All right, take care.